they're below the 620 threshold. So then you get those 10 points or 20 points. That's something that's totally doable, right?
Oh, absolutely. And our company name is United Credit Educational Service. So, and speaking about their credit restoration, how that basically works is, you know, we have rights as consumers and we don't know those. We don't understand as maybe as a layperson how credit works, how the bureaus work, how you get things off your credit report when you can. Anything, and I will repeat, anything negative dragging your credit report down can come off. Evictions, bankruptcies, liens, student loans, even inquiries. We can get them off, they can come off. You have by law an ability through the Fair Credit Reporting Act to dispute anything. So basically, when you join our service and you're utilizing the credit restoration, which is primarily a lot of people, our attorneys look at your credit report. We do a soft pull, just so you know. It's a soft, I call it credit wellness pull, but it's a soft pull. And they look at every single thing on the 3 top bureaus, and they pull everything together and send out aggressive letters we have 45 days from date of like say the bureaus receive the letter, they know that by law they only have 45 days to respond or things will come off. Period. Whether you own them or not, they're coming off. So they know they only have a certain amount of time to verify that debt. And if they can't, then it's off. And then we just keep going with the letters. We usually see movement within the first 60 days of, the first 90 days, I apologize, because the bureaus have 45 days to respond and mailing, so on and so forth. So we usually see upward motion in the credit score or things coming off in both within the first 90 days.
So let me ask you a question there.
Go ahead.
So say they had an eviction and you go, hey, you reach out to that credit bureau, and then that credit bureau will reach out to whoever put that on there and go, hey, do you have proof of this, basically? And if they don't provide proof within that time frame, then it'll just come off. Nice.
Yeah. Now I'm going to put out like really awesome scenarios to you, but I've seen bankruptcies come off in 30 days. Is that happening every time? No, but it can, because if someone dropped the ball and didn't respond, gone.
Right. Yeah.
And the bureaus
because it's their responsibility to have that proof and be able to go, okay, here it is, right? So yeah, okay, cool.
Absolutely.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
That can make a huge difference.
But not all your programs have credit restoration, right? Some of them are just budgeting or.
We have one big one big program that has a lot of services.
Okay.
Not everybody needs every service though. So what I like to do, I'll move on to that, is I like to meet, have a conversation with your clients, usually just on the phone, like maybe I'll basically just say, okay, tell me what is on your credit report. If they don't know, I might ask for a basic view somewhere. I won't ask for a hard pull. I'll ask, can we look at something? I want to see how I can add value and what programs make sense for your client, because everyone has different credit, as you well know. Like everyone has different mortgage needs and home purchase, whatever. So I'll have a brief conversation, go over what they need, and then I'll make my recommendations. So that introduction is critical. I really care about your clients, so they'll never be like this, like, all right, sign up with me, push type of thing. It'll be like, hey, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to answer questions and add value to you. I hope I can help you.
So is the price based on what their needs are and how many of the different a la carte per se that they utilize, or how's it based on?
Not every program, not every one of our products is a la carte. We only do a couple of the services a la carte. The will and trust is an a la carte, I believe, and a couple of the other services. The only time someone really doesn't need the entire program is if they have like one thing on their credit report and they don't give a rip about a will and trust because they've already gotten theirs. That's a very rare scenario. If that happens, then I give them really clear, good advice. And then I communicate with the lender and the real estate agent, whomever referred me, or both if needed. And that, but that's happened, and I'm more than happy to do that. And then they just don't sign up for the service because, like I said, our biggest thing is adding value. We are an educational company. What kind of person would I be if I have you sign up for a service and you only have one thing on your credit report? Just help you through that process.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So if you there's only the one thing, you go, hey, just work with that one company or whoever and get that removed, or it might be easier than signing up for this whole credit.
Yeah. You know, there's value in our programming no matter what. But if a lot of times they have singular focus, and that's okay. I just meet your customers where they're at. And then I advise them from there. Most of the time they need our all-inclusive programming simply because everyone really needs it. And quite frankly, it's not some astronomical cost. I mean, we're very reasonable with. That's why I like to talk to them. They don't realize the value of what they're getting. The will and trust alone would be hundreds of dollars. You're getting
we just did one. It was like $3,000 for both. Ours is very complicated, but that is I have no idea what credit recovery costs. When I was 18, I think I did consumer credit counseling for credit card debt, and I took care of that, and that was fine. But then I've never had issues ever since. I've always learned my lesson.
Yeah, that's great. One of my partners too has immaculate credit, so sometimes I find it she has a lot more questions than someone that maybe has gone through the process themselves, because it's hard to talk about. And honestly, we never expect our partners to know. Like I said, I'm never going to talk about lending in real estate. I would never step into that lane and risk saying something I shouldn't say. So I'm fine for all of us to stay in our own lanes. That's how we work well together, I think. And that's what served me well and my other partners.
So if we have someone that wants to purchase a house, but they're like, what would you say, how many points away?
Yeah, say they're like a 580 and they need to get to like the 640 or something or whatever, or they're in the low fives and they can get to the 600s, and we can get you qualified at 620, right? So obviously it's got to be. And sometimes people don't know this, that they got to have there's 3 credit bureaus that mortgage loan officer will pull from, and we're always going to take the middle one. So if you're 650, 620, and 580, we're going to take the 621. So but like say that case that they're below the 620 threshold, so then you get those 10 points or 20 points. That's something that's totally doable, right?
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, that might be another scenario if we're in a short time frame where I can give them some tips and tricks. Nice. Whether it be their credit, my rent, and we have lots of other things that we tell them. So in that scenario, I certainly can. It's just most of my scenarios are very involved, or I shouldn't say very involved, but more involved than that. Things like literally you have looked at their credit report and you're like, this has to come off before I can help you. That's usually my scenarios.
Okay.
And that would mean they would need to be part of our programming. If there has to be dispute letters sent out and things like that, or if they just saw value in the other parts, but ultimately I'm just going to try to help the customer where they're at,
Do they have to go to a cash basis like you do in consumer credit counseling, or they get rid of everything?
No, actually, no. I actually recommend always to talk to me before paying off debt. I know that sounds bizarre.
No, but it doesn't. I've heard that. It's better because you might need to have some going, right?
Well, not just that, but I had someone, not you guys, of course, a lender I did not know. It broke my heart. The story really breaks my heart. She needed a refi like fast. And so she went to some, lender 101 or whatever she went to. And they said, you know what, pay $10,000 worth of this debt and we'll be good to go. She paid it. Her score didn't go up 1 point, not one point. It broke my heart because if she would have talked to me, I would have said, don't do that. If your client is literally paying a debt just to have their credit go up, the only way I would do it in a fast manner is to get a written letter from that particular debtor saying this will come off my credit report. And I'm just telling you guys right now, I've seen that happen this many times.
Wow.
No matter what you're offering to pay. I don't know why. Well, I kind of know why, but I don't know officially why, but they barely ever will do that. Part of it is because they have to pay. Believe it or not, they have to pay to put stuff on your credit report. And guess who's a for-profit industry, unlike us? The credit bureaus. And the people we owe debt to. So they're making money off all these postings. So sometimes getting things off your credit report is more trouble and financial burden to the people, But
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, and I'll throw in this little tidbit that I've learned recently because we've seen some of the mortgage slowdown, right? So some of those big lenders are out there are buying up people. Like if I run someone through their credit, then they're going to buy that lead through the credit bureaus. I'm not giving out that information, right? But the credit bureaus is selling that information at like $80 a lead to another mortgage company so they can try to steal that person from me, and go.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's correct.
it
So
is,
the credit
but
bureaus are, making money off of you both ways, right?
oh, yeah, they really are. And so we have to be our own best advocates, and we can be. And that's why I utilize like someone like myself to give you legally what's available to you. And since I brought up legal, I do want to tell you, if anybody tells you they can get something off your credit in 30 days, they lied. It's not even legal. The bureaus have 45 days. So do not use anyone that says that. I'm not saying just use me, but I'm going to do things legal, and I'm never going to lie to your clients. Just
Well,
like
that's a
every
hot tip.
industry, mortgage, real estate, whatever. There's sketchy people everywhere that just want to make a buck. That is not me.
Yeah, it's good to
I
know.
mean, those are great tips. I love stories that we tell, like personal stories from clients, and that helps people resonate. Like, this is true. You're seeing it day in and day out, and we see it. Him as a lender, and then I see it as being someone who works in divorce real estate. These people's credit is damaged from the divorce. I mean, we have someone now, she can get approved for a loan, but she's like all upset that her score is like 780, and I'm like, girl, that's good. And she's like,
It is good.
She's all panicky about it, and I'm like, I mean, I have a 19-year-old son. He doesn't even understand either. I was like, hey, you can't pay that on the date that it says that it's due. Past due. I go, you need every day you're late is another day, and the next. He's like, oh, I mean, people just don't understand. And credit is everything, sadly. I mean, like I said, I was 18 and in debt and then got myself out. But these are really good tips. So thank you for sharing. And I love that you are willing to
The
help.
last thing, since you brought it up, and I won't do the one thing. So 35% of your score is paying on time. Pay on time. If they haven't been, start now. We'll dispute the other things, but start now. Pay on time.
Okay.
That's 35% of your score. 30% is utilization. And what that means is credit available to you. So let's just say that your client has $1,000 credit limit. If they need to keep their utilization, what they use monthly, 300 and under every single month. And to Amber's point, you don't pay on the due date. You pay, I'll go through this with you, but you will pay on the date, the statement date. And there's also ways to move the score up in paying 3 days before. 15 days before you pay. So let's just say that you wanted to pay out of the 300. Well, you wanted to pay the 300. Okay. You want to pay the 300 out of that you've charged. So you're going to give some of that 15 days before and the remainder 3 days before. And that'll bump your score up too. That's a trick, actually.
Really?
Okay. So
days before.
So as soon as you get that, hey, your statement, and they're going, hey, it's due on the 10th, you want to pay that on the, say the 25th, the previous month, some of it, and then to pay the rest of it on the 7th, the rest of what you didn't pay on the 7th. Sounds
the 15 days before and the 3 days before. That's a quick way to get the scores bumped up fast.
Really?
But if they're like, you know what, I can't remember all that. Okay, fine. Just make sure you pay it before the due date. You gotta keep that down.
Psychologically crazy like me, like I had a big fat credit card bill and it wasn't due for like, I don't know, a long time. Like I just got this date and I was like, oh, I gotta go ahead and pay because I don't like looking at it. So I went ahead and paid half. I was like, just because I didn't want to look at it because it made me feel sick.
I'm the same way. Really, I'm the same way because I know what it's going to do to my credit score. That's where
I my own credit up and didn't even know I did it.
Yeah.
Probably,
yeah,
right?
you just want it off your mind. It's like, for some people it weighs on their mind. It just kind of depends. Everybody's different. And I'll go through these with your clients. There's so many things that we can do to help increase their scores in a quick manner. But the biggest thing that's going to move the needle if they have things on their report dragging them down, late pays, whatever it may be, is get that off. Because I'm telling you what, here's another thing. The bureaus are paid to keep stuff on your credit report.
And I heard they reset the button too. Like 7 years, that's a bunch of malarkey. They actually do longer.
Yep. We had a client that a few months back, she had stuff on her credit report. You ready for this? From the 80s.
I believe it. I totally believe it.
It's 40 years.
It's a crack. I mean,
they don't give a crumb. If you're not going to dispute it, They don't
leave
care.
it.
Yeah, they don't care that they're not making money off taking things off your credit report. They're making money by having things on your credit report.
Yeah.
Period.
What's the
So
average? I know everybody's different with each program and how jacked up their credit is. Like this program, what's the average length and time, would you say?
Yeah, in the first 90 days, they will see movement upward. I would highly recommend them utilizing all aspects of the service because there's a way they can actually see live what's going on in their credit report. I had a client that was about to close on with their lender, and this dumb Verizon bill came back on, and thank God we caught it, because if it would have waited until you pulled, say it was you,
Right.
and that had to be off, it would have sucked, you know? So how nice was it that we have part of our services, they see live as things may come on, and your score go up, which makes the client happy, because really, in the end of the day, you guys may understand, well, you definitely understand more of what I'm talking about, but an average person really just wants to see that number go up, and whatever you told them, whatever was told that needs to come off their credit report, that's the only things that they really, resonate with when they're looking for a purchase or a purchase. I don't know, refis aren't too popular right now, but
well, maybe
maybe
we do loyalty liens, which is where one spouse buys out the other spouse, and with the loyalty lien, they're able to pay debts with it, which is really awesome. So if you don't know about that, we need to look into that with us. But I have another question. How I heard you mention like foreclosure, which I mean, with divorce there comes foreclosure, and we just did an episode on the types of bankruptcy, and like, how do you get that off?
Disputing, believe it or not, disputing. Because also, here's another thing. Eventually, this debt's going to be sold to somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Your client did not sign a deal with that other person that they're going to pay that debt off. So technically, they don't have to answer questions. If anyone ever calls me about anything, number one, I worry it's a scam. Number two, if something from way back when got sold, I don't owe you the money. I didn't sign a deal with you. You send me in writing. Now, I will respond to things in writing, but I'm not going to verify my information and give you my social and own that debt, because I don't know you. I don't know you. And that's what I would tell everybody, because, right.
That's
so every
awesome
situation,
information. Awesome.
Yeah.
It would be hard. You're not going to beat the pricing. I've checked out Lexington Law, all of them. They don't offer half of what we offer. And they'll go for one thing at a time, where we go after everything. All at once. Because most other credit restoration companies, they want to keep you on the hook as long as they can.
Oh yeah, like let's do the one, and then next
monthly
month we'll
fee.
do the other one, and we'll do the other one.
For my partners, such as yourself and my clients, so we know what's going on. Our program is very comprehensive because we're a non-for-profit and we're a wealth education company. We have 13 services with our program. I'm just going to talk about a couple of them, so not to overwhelm you. Our flagship program is a credit restoration, and that is what's going to resonate most with you guys. We also offer, with our programming during the process, they can do a will and trust, which I can't speak to Texas, but Vegas, I haven't found one less than $1,400. That's part of the programming, and you're not going to spend $1,400 for it. You can also make any amendments during that time, just because we want people to walk away from our programming feeling like, wow, I understand about finance, credit, budgeting, really important core things that not only should we leave a legacy for our families, but maybe we weren't completely educated on the value of that.
So they're going to get a will with this?
Yeah, you can get a will and trust. Actually, we've had 2 people recently that signed up because for a will and trust, our prices are so amazing. They're not going to beat it anywhere, even with like deep discounts. People have signed up just to get a will and trust. And that's only one of the services on the programming. There's a debt consolidation, so you can put all your debt information in. There's a budgeting feature. Really got to have a budget. I really hone in on the flagship programs, which is, to me, a will and trust. You got to have, if you're looking to acquire an asset or even have family, you need to have a will and trust. Aretha Franklin and Prince didn't have them. Their stuff went to probate. That stunk. And we're talking huge assets.
All about probate.
I bet you do. So anyway, that in itself, that and the credit restoration alone make this program just amazing.